So the topic that's been bubbling up lately is spiritual courage. And I tried to think back to where I first got some. When did I become a little more brave? And I think it was being forced to change my focus towards myself. My husband, used to be my husband, is an alcoholic. And when we were married, he was a drinking alcoholic. And it's really easy to fall into this trap with someone who's drinking or someone who has another problem or an issue where that's your focus. Because it's such a glaring problem, it seems like, well, this is what we have to focus on. Obviously, this is the thing that needs to be fixed. The problem is that it was someone else. It wasn't my problem exactly, right? That's not my boat to row. But I was in there rowing that boat as hard as I could, mostly in circles, but that's what we do, right? So when that crashes and burns at some point because it's exhausting and pointless, and there's just a point where it becomes obvious that's not working. And I found Al-Anon, and that's one of the first things I heard. I don't know if that's one of the first things they told me, but one of the first things I heard was take care of yourself. I was like, what? Oh, take care of myself, like actually focus on myself. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I think that does take courage, and anyone who does that, I think, is courageous to start to let everyone else take care of themselves and to focus on you. Because once you do that, you're going to find a lot of stuff that you have been ignoring. There are a lot of things that needed attention that you weren't attending to. And that's what codependency is, right? Codependency is that you're focusing on someone else. It's really a tactic of avoidance, so we can avoid looking at ourselves. But then all the stuff that built up during that time while you were busy with everybody else is going to be there. So that's the courage it takes to then go, okay, I got to do this now. I have to feel this. I have to deal with what I haven't been dealing with, but it's important, and it's the work. It's the point. It's not our purpose to control anyone else and everyone else. And we can get caught up with this with children too. If we have children, that's our purpose. And certainly there is a time period where they need a lot of our attention. But I think sometimes stereotypically, but moms will come to a point where then they have to focus back on themselves after years, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, who am I? What do I like? What do I want to do? So it's that courage of going into, some place that might feel empty, right? Or some place that might feel unfamiliar. It's the courage of a yogi to go in and meet parts of yourself that you haven't seen in a while and welcome them back and say, okay, I'm here, I'm with you. Sorry, I left for a minute. I got a little distracted, but I'm back. And it's not always fun. I just had an email from a yoga student who said, she just started coming to yoga, and she'd done yoga years ago. She said, so this certain thing made me anxious. I've heard meditation makes me anxious. Something is that normal? That kind of thing. And she said she also did remember that from when she had practiced a long time ago. It's funny that terminology, because it's not that the yoga or that certain technique or whatever that was made her anxious. It's not that meditation makes you anxious. It's that it is bringing your attention to the anxiety that is there. That has been there. That has been waiting for you to notice it, right? It's just going to be there. So it's not always fun, but it will change. There is more as you're just going to start peeling those layers off. They just start to peel off. Whatever you had been ignoring is going to be there. And the purpose of this ultimately is that's where your guidance system is. That's where your truth is. That's where what you're supposed to be doing here is. The Gospel of Thomas is a collection of Jesus's sayings. It's one of the gospel. It's not one of the Gospels in the official Bible, which was a bunch of books that were compiled. It didn't make it in there. It was actually found later, but some of it reflects the same things that were said in the other Gospels. But Gospels are my favorite part of the Bible. I want to know what Jesus said. The other stuff after that, there's a lot of wacky stuff that I think people who were less than enlightened wrote some other stuff. I want to tell me what Jesus said. And if 4 or 5 people say this is what he said, I'm like, okay, he probably said that. Of course, there's always issues of translation and things like that. But so the Gospel of Thomas is, I think, like 99 or so sayings of Jesus. And this is also similar to found in the other Gospels. He said, if your leaders say to you, look, the Father's kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the Father's kingdom is within you, and it is outside you. So if someone says, look for it here, or look for it there, or wait for it, or that's further away from you. That's putting it further away when actually it's within us and outside of us. Starting within us, I think, is what's meant by seek first the kingdom. Seek first our connection inside. And the yogis used different words. The yogis used the true self, connecting with that, or samadhi in yoga is where you inside yourself connect with all that is. That's the kingdom. The kingdom is within us and outside of us. So when we drop in there first, then we can bring that. Then we can bring peace to the world. Then we can bring whatever we're supposed to bring. Whatever you do you. I'm doing me, you do you. And then we'll all, it will all work together. There's a great part of Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle that I like to read this in class sometimes, so you might have heard this, but Eckhart Tolle writes, many things in your life matter, but only one thing matters absolutely. It matters whether you succeed or fail in the eyes of the world. It matters whether you're healthy or not healthy, whether you're educated or not educated. It matters whether you're rich or poor. It certainly makes a difference in your life. Yes, all these things matter, relatively speaking, but they don't matter absolutely. There is something that matters more than any of those things, and that is finding the essence of who you are beyond that short-lived entity, that short-lived, personalized sense of self. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. Sometimes we think if this person would do this and that person would do that, and I had the right job or the right partner, or that, then I could be happy. Then I could be at peace. Not so much. You could live in the perfect place and have the perfect partner and be miserable. We probably all know people. We're like, what's the problem? And sometimes it is just that. Sometimes that is the problem. that everything is perfect, and now they just have the last thing to do. Sometimes that's the last thing people do, is go within. And sometimes people sort of, I don't know what the word is, but have hard feelings against people who are wealthy or were born with wealth and privilege, or, Paris Hilton, whatever. I feel sorry for people like that often. They were given everything and they have everything, so there's all of that seems so important that usually they have to have some kind of a fall, right? They have to have something for them to go, oh, I'm supposed to actually look within myself. And that can be a hard thing. So if we seek first the kingdom, which is within us and around us, if we seek that first, and then we can build a life. It's not to say, don't build a life, you're supposed to do something. You were here to do something, to give what we can give. But from the inside out is different than getting everything all straightened out first. I wrote a little something the other night on spiritual courage. And this is one of those things that just really started pouring out as I just started typing it, and it was already ready, and I just had to write it down. So I kind of defined spiritual courage as being brave enough to focus on yourself with love and intention for the good of all. Ultimately, that is for the good of all, right? We think we're doing good things for people, trying to control everybody but ultimately focusing on ourselves first with love and intention, that would be the best thing for everyone. Be brave enough to feel your feelings, listen to your heart, learn from your life, and try to awaken. The great teachers were showing us what we can be, what we can do, and how to bring love, the kingdom, to one another and the earth. We miss the mark. We take the easy way out when we simply deify, worship, or glorify their personalities. We shirk our responsibilities by waiting for a savior to fix everything. We are the ones we're waiting for. They left clues on how to awaken love, Christ consciousness, Buddha nature. Some are riddles, some are metaphors, some are parables and epic tales. They are pointers. Read between and among the lines. They all said that they're available to help us if we but call on them. So call on your spirit of choice, an angel, an ancestor, or a deceased friend or loved one. They have all-knowing perspective where they are. Ask for help and wisdom. Ask to be shown your next step toward becoming a light in the world. Be brave. Now is your time. How do I know that? You're alive.